Welcome back, everyone. Well, Tracy Marceron is back, and she's got the gardening glove again. It's always fun to see what you're going to come up with, the gardening glove, and this is something for summertime.
Well, and this is the time of year you can actually find garden gloves in the hardware store, so
That's true.
Stock up so that we have them for the fall and winter projects.
Right.
The first thing you're going to do, like so many of the other projects, is cut that thumb off because we're going to use that later. Set that aside, and in this project, we're actually going to cut off the two side fingers too.
Okay.
But when you cut them, you want to cut them kind of rounded so that you have a tapered side to the body, because what the glove is going to become is the body, and these two fingers will become the arms. So you kind of have a rounded bottom like that.
Okay.
And then, and don't worry about the printing on the glove, that's going to be covered with the dress. Then you put a little stuffing in each one of those three pieces that you've cut off and glue the bottom shut with a little hot glue.
Okay.
And be real careful on that. When you go like this, that's where you're going to burn yourself. So be very gentle the way that you squeeze that. And set those three pieces aside. And then you glue this little hole shut and this one and where you cut the thumb off.
Okay.
So that you now have kind of like a pillow form that you can stuff.
Yep.
So I'll let you start stuffing that.
Okay.
You have to begin with little pieces to get down into those legs. And it takes about this much stuffing to fill the whole thing. So I know it looks way more than what you need, but that's how much you need. So you push it all the way to the feet, then the rest of the body, and then you're going to start using these little pieces that you've set aside. So after the body's completely filled, you're going to fold down the collar all the way to where it attaches to the glove. And that's the cuff, actually, but I call it a collar because that's what it's going to become.
We're making,
And then you're going to take the little headpiece, and you can paint eyes on this head by using a little bit of black paint. And I just use acrylic, regular acrylic. You can use a toothpick or a paintbrush handle, but that is what you're going to use to dot the two little eyes on, and that makes two perfectly little round dots. You set that aside to dry if you want, or it dries pretty quickly. Just watch that you don't get your finger in it.
Okay.
And you're going to apply hot glue to the front and back of where you closed that. Again, be really careful about how you handle that piece so that you don't burn yourself. And then that's just going to tuck right into that collar cuff. And then you're just going to gently, again, squeeze that around to attach the head to the stuffed glove. So if you fold down your collar, you'll be almost to the same point I am.
Okay.
Then you're going to take a piece of fabric and just with a needle and thread, do a quick running stitch from one side of that fabric to the next, all along the top, on the very edge.
Okay.
And pull that string to gather it. And then that is going to tuck under this collar that you've attached the head to. So the head is on the stuffed one at this point.
Okay.
And you're going to hot glue that all in. The running stitch helps to make a nice gather. So you're going to glue that in and then glue the collar down on top of the dress. So you have a nice gathered dress. And then you'll take the two little stuffed arm pieces and hot glue those in as well under the collar. So don't completely glue the edge of your collar down until you have your two arms in there as well.
Okay.
And then on my sample, so you've got all your pieces glued together. On my sample, you can see that I then added Spanish moss hair and glue that all the way around the back in case somebody sees the back. Attach a little piece of raffia. I found these wings in my craft supply collection, but if you don't have metal wings or you can't find them like this, then you can just take twigs and use them in behind as the wings, or dried flowers, whatever you have on hand. There's so many different ways that you can make wings. Call me if anybody needs help on that. And then I just attached a little bit of flowers in her hands. I've also in the past put a little basket or a little watering can, any little miniature thing that you can find, and then you can hang her on a garden fence or hang her on the side of your house, and she's a gardening angel.
Excellent. All right, and just real quickly, if folks want to get all the arts and crafts ideas as far as what's going on at Between Friends, they can go to
BetweenFriendsArtCenter.com or NextGenerationTheater.com.
Easy enough.
Thanks,
you, Tracy.
Joy.